Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Capricorn April 2023 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant, and I've done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for a number of you from different parts of the world in the course of the last month. There's a Six of Cups. And also healings as well. And if you might feel drawn or led to look to see what's involved in having a clairvoyant reading, or separately a healing from me from anywhere in the world over FaceTime or Skype, then just check out the information that's in the description box below. It's really straightforward. But now, it's great to see the subscribers back again, my lord. It's great to see you. I really look forward to seeing you each month. Truly I do. My love and affection to you always. And as you know, there are no video advertisements breaking their way into this content. So you get to enjoy the experience of the reading uninterrupted. Now we're going to take 5 cards because 5 is all we need. This is a Russian deck. Did I mention that? And you'll see the unmistakable imagery of the sort of the Russian Orthodox art around it. Here is something that's jumping out, the sun. That was the Six of Cups. What else might be here? Something from in here, shall we? This is the Hermit. Hello, Hermit. Good to see you, old chap. Now, let's see here. Judgment. A couple of, wow, you've got a line of major arcana, a diagonal line of major arcana there, the Sun, the Hermit, and Judgment. Very fortunate, that. Very rare to see that in that line like that. Particularly with those cards, I might say. I've been doing this for a long, long time. And there's the Two of Cups. What a great finish there. But why don't you come now, sit down. This is going to be a great month for you. Sit down next to me. We'll have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Well, where shall we start? I think why don't we start with the first card that you drew, which is this, the Six of Cups. Now it's opposite the Sun, Judgment, and the Two of Cups at the other end of this. And that is all important because this means that this energy is really the Lord of pleasure. Pleasure. Now, this is the Sun. Now, incidentally, I also have, well, the Sun ruling the second decan of Scorpio, the 3rd to the 12th of November. Now, with this number 6 here, I also have numerologically an association with the Sun as well. And here is the Sun in this card here, we see. Now, I also have associated with this number 6 a real sense of Christ consciousness, of Vishnu consciousness, of Krishna consciousness, and the consciousness of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he received the Quran from the Archangel Gabriel. Now, the Sun in the second decan of Scorpio. Well, here we have a double dose of the Sun because, as I say, the Sun is associated with this number 6 as well. And the double Sun reveals what Scorpio wants to hide. Remember, this is in the sign of Scorpio, this card. So I see what's coming here is with the Sun in Scorpio is that, well, there's a pleasure here. The pleasure is a kind of pleasure which is completely harmonized, though. Now, the zodiacal sign governing this card, for me, being Scorpio, well, pleasure here is planted in its most receptive soil. Wouldn't you agree? This is a preeminently fertile card, and really, for me, it's one of the best in the pack, it just so happens. But there's a great degree of fertility around here. There's lust, enjoyment, pleasure in sexual relationships, and a rich exchange of sexual and heart energy, and an emotional renewal as well. Now look, I'll say this though, that if you happen to not be in a relationship, this card still applies to you because it could be applied to your fantasy life, and if that's the case, there's nothing wrong with that. But this card is an invitation to give yourself up to the richness of your own emotionality. You may experience this as a jump into water as the tingling anticipation of diving deeply, of disappearing, of letting go, rising to the surface, you are refreshed. This is the process of death and rebirth. The result of taking the risk is deep emotional purification and renewal. This pleasure, though, must be understood in its highest sense. It implies well-being and harmony of natural forces without any effort or strain. Ease and satisfaction are coming here with you. And it also represents, obviously the fulfillment of the sexual will, but there is also here water, which is emotions, with that sign of Scorpio. Now, as I say, the emphasis here is on sexuality, but it is not in an uncontrolled way. Rather, it's a harmonious and balanced way. Now, this also, I think, refers to a pleasure in a more general sense as well. Not just sex, but in a more general sense of emotions. There is pleasurable emotions experienced, which I think are coming about now after probably much hardship which has been experienced by you in the past. I'm looking at these cards here, and they have like brass tips to them. That has an association with Venus for me. And I think that what this is saying is that you may well also be undergoing a period of healing and transformation. Now, the emphasis is on a relationship, or on the desire to have a relationship that will improve both individuals, where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. There is now I'm not selling religion, but there is a book of the Old Testament, or the Hebrew Bible, called the Book of Psalms, and I'm pretty sure it's Psalm 94 verse 18 that says, "When I think my foot has given way, your faithfulness, O Lord, supports me." Now, meditating on that verse, you will come to acknowledge that the light of the Creator is the ultimate source of all prosperity and well-being, and you will summon the forces of prosperity and sustenance, and it will keep your ego in check as well. So enjoy now all of which life gives you. This is the best way to express your gratitude. Are you holding on to old beliefs which prevent your enjoyment of pleasure? Enjoy your own emotional wealth and share it with someone. And say to yourself, I am now open to a person with whom I can share the joys of love on all levels. Now, let's see what's running down this diagonal. Great card, that, isn't it? The Hermit. Okay. Hello, Hermit. What have you got to tell my friend here today? Well, here we have a hermit who is, from the direction that he's heading, or he's looking, it's almost as if he's looking back upon his life. And these, what I take to be mountains, may be referring to some struggles which the past have thrown up for him. Well, he is the prophet of the eternal, the magus of the voice of power. It is Mercury ruling Virgo, with Mercury exalted. So Mercury is about communication. It's about the intellect. It's about getting things across. Virgo, of course, is very earthy, like yourself, but it's the mutable sign of Earth, whereas you, of course, are the opposite. You are the cardinal. Now, this is about finding your own light, going inward, completing the harvest. I think that there are some things which you have previously had underway, work which you've done, and now it's time to seek some inner fulfillment. It's a time also of patience to be shown, I think. You'll have a love of learning new things, I think, and it's almost as if you are going to be illuminated from within, in a sense almost like a sort of a divine inspiration, but certainly there'll be a great degree of wisdom about you, and I think you're going to have people asking you about what it is that they should do in relation to this situation or that situation. You know, this card is saying that you are setting out in search of internal fulfillment, and you will find the light within, and you'll be fulfilled by the wealth of the inner realm, to the extent maybe that the external world appears colourless and unimportant. But I don't have any concerns about you stopping your ambitious path forward, as you always do. What I really do have the sense of here is I have the sense of you getting away from something, getting away from a situation, withdrawing from it in order to get a better insight into it. You might also be spending time, I think, really going through the process of understanding why it is that someone else thinks the way that they do in relation to a situation, even though you don't agree with it. But rather, you're going to know why something is the way it is, why they are viewing the world as it is. There's a great degree of creativity around you, and that is because that Mercury being exalted in Virgo is giving you that creativity. There's also a great degree of fertility around here, so if you'll find out about pregnancy, and if you don't want to get pregnant, then you know what to do. But I also think here that this fertility extends to new ventures, new works, new things to do, and there's the growth and expansion coming around here as well. The Hermit could be like a mentor who you're attracted to when you like the sort of knowledge that they have and the way that they put it across. I think it's also the case here that there may be the point where lovers are finding out about the shadow sides of each other. Yeah, you might be finding out the shadow side of someone with whom you have a relationship in. You'll be becoming aware of something of which you were previously unaware of or in the dark of, as you may be spending some alone time just to recalibrate yourself and to do some soul searching. I do think, though, that there is a need for you to get in touch with your untapped wisdom. Now, if you are by yourself, accept your aloneness and don't concern yourself with people who don't understand you, who would rather see you as part of the herd. Have you any unresolved situations or relationships in your life? Make a list of all situations which you now wish to resolve or in some way bring to completion. Now remember that whoever embarks on the search for the internal light must not be encumbered by unresolved conflicts. Accounts must be settled. You understand that, don't you? But say this: I enjoy the feeling of completion and resolution. I will not compromise that which is important to me. And I can enjoy my aloneness because I can stop being alone whenever I want. Now, down the bottom here is this card, which is this Two of Cups. This is particularly good for you, and the reason is because it is Venus in the first decan of Cancer, the 21st of June to the 1st of July. Well, this exemplifies the benefit of you having drawn this card, because Venus is the most receptive of the planets, and it is the planet of love, beauty, creativity, relationship, and it's also the planet of money and business. Did you know that? Well, Cancer is the sign, the most receptive of signs, about nurturing, comfort, support, and very much about healing. And I see here a receptive love, happy relationships, and an emotional exchange. There are close bonds here, togetherness, love, harmony, and a relationship that is strengthening. Now, you may say, what relationship is that? Well, it may well be a romantic relationship, but it's not restricted to that. It can also be relationships which are to do with business, because Venus is here. So you can have customer-supplier relationships. And if you're involved in selling, this is very good for you. And you will, of course, know that with that previous card of the Hermit that's there. And of course, in some respects, most people are involved in selling something, aren't they? It's understanding what is in the head of the person that you're trying to sell something to or to convince of. Now, what there is also here is there is a mutual love and respect. And I think that people, if you are in that sales mode, I think that people are actually going to respect your knowledge and ability. Be something like a consultant to the person that you are selling to. Don't look at the thing as a transaction, but look at it as someone who might want to come back to you, who's going to rely upon your advice. There is here, when I'm talking about love though, and coming back to personal romantic situations, if you love yourself, you are attractive to others. Your receptiveness towards yourself prepares you to give yourself totally to someone else. A deep emotional exchange will then be possible, a giving and receiving of overflowing love. Now, the union occurs in complete harmony. The other thing that I will say here is that it's unavoidable, though, that there are, some of these close bonds can become very close, and we can have people getting engaged to each other or moving in with each other, and you'll hear of perhaps of marriage. Certainly there's the beginning of harmonious relationships everywhere here. Also close friendship. There doesn't have to be any romantic aspect to it. And if you do meditate, then you'll be able to, I think, access universal love in meditation. But there's a love here that is both special and equal, and you'll be able to give and receive love in equal measure. Now, with which persons and in which surroundings can you now share your love? And to pay attention to the love coming to you. Remain open and let it enter you and go deep inside. And say to yourself, there is nothing to do but enjoy what life offers. I am now ready to let into my life the love relationships which will fulfill me. Now let's have a look at the Judgment card that was down here, only because I feel like doing it. And here it is, the Archangel Gabriel, in the Christian tradition, blowing a trumpet. And there are people responding to that trumpet in what is a familiar Christian scene. Now, this is the spirit of the primal fire. I think you are going to be highly discriminating and discerning during this period. And you will have a critical self-analysis, but there's also closure of things, and you'll have a definitive action as a result of, I think, this time of having a think about what's going on with yourself is going to lead to definitive action in your case. There's going to be a great degree of resolution with you. And there is a decision that you are going to make that's going to have something of a major impact upon your life, even though it doesn't necessarily seem that way at the time. Now, this could be something like a lifestyle, a work thing. But these changes are positive, I've got to say. There is some life-changing experience that's coming around for you, and certainly it's time for you to move on after seeing the bigger picture. And I think, just like this Hermit was saying, that you are going to take some time out in order to see the bigger picture. You have to stand back and obtain all the information about what's going on before you make that decision. I think that this energy suggests that there is a need for well thought out judgment of a situation. A long, difficult work process may be required before you finally reach this judgment. An all-encompassing insight, of course, cannot be achieved solely through the intellect, body, spirit, and soul. These three figures, I suppose. They are drawn into the process of forming a judgment, and during this process you will instinctively move towards that which will support your blossoming and move away from that which will offer no help. Now, you are being challenged to drop your worm's eye view, to see things from a higher plane. And when you have recognized greater time spans and other contexts which you are increasingly ready to do, by the way, you will then tend more and more to observe things in their beingness, to see things free from evaluation. Say this to yourself: I observe people and situations objectively and fairly. I value the combination of my qualities and characteristics. I honor the unlimited well of creativity within me to express in family and work settings. God is the unknown, the mysterious. The more I know that I don't know, the closer I am to the divine. So what methods are you going to use to gain deeper insight and greater wisdom? Now, is there anything left for us to do? Let's have a... Oh, there's the sun here. This is good. That's the last one, isn't it? We're all connected together, you see, which is no coincidence. And here is the sun, as we were talking about, and here is a little boy riding on a white horse underneath a very happy-looking sun. Well, this is the Lord of the fire of the word. Now, astrologically, it is, as you would expect, closely associated with that of the sun, and esoterically with sun gods such as Ra, Mithra, and a number of others that you might come into being with. They're often depicted with halos or rays coming from their heads. Well, the sun is the source of life and represents success and abundance, and this will follow you in your life at present. This energy will get you through tough times. The sun is going to illuminate your path after what has been something of a trying time, I suggest. So embrace your goals. Now that you've thought about what it is that you want, embrace them and give it everything that you've got. And if you have had tough times, things are going to get better. Look at this little guy here. Be like him and remove any layers of negativity that have overlaid you. If you had asked him what negative thoughts do you have, he'd have no idea what you're talking about. Do you know, this is a period in which you can move mountains. I've also got a very strong sense of marriage around here. Certainly that's the case. And also fulfilled love relationships, but that's not unusual given these other cards that we've seen. Certainly a wisdom also here, a transformation. This card is a yes. It's talking about success, good fortune, optimism, and happiness. I will say, though, that when I see this card and I see it opposite the Judgment and backing onto the Hermit card, like, as you can see, it's touching onto the Hermit there. What I actually also see is an energy that comes up where there's an indication that issues of co-relationships and teamwork, they are in the foreground. Possibly going into partnerships, that is doing things with people. Now, if you do go into a partnership, make sure you get everything looked at by an attorney. I find that partnerships usually are a bad idea because someone does all the work and someone else takes all the money. That may be just me. But it could be a project which is here. It's a time of restructuring any long-standing relationships. It's also a time in this situation where lovers can become friends. Get friend-zoned. Nevertheless, the fulfillment of your wishes is possible here and now. So relax and give yourself up to the dance. The right partners will find each other. What task or project is on the agenda for you now? Visualize the light and warmth of the sun in your chest and heart for the next few days. Remind yourself several times daily that the sun is shining in and through you. And say this to yourself: I work well in teamwork situations. I enjoy making contributions to group efforts. I am a cooperative person. I am in harmony with the divine light which fills and guides me. Well, what a fantastic spread of cards for you, and what a great month. Good job, you. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed providing it to you. It really was an interesting reading, and great things are in store for you this month. I found the artwork, did you not, to be quite interesting. It's not the type of thing that you see every day, is it? But anyway, there'll be a different deck for next month. But in the meantime, I want you to remember one thing and one thing only, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.